That's right. Your eyes do not deceive you. It is Talladega Super Speedway. It's mystery night here for the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. And well, the selection has been Talladega Super Speedway, the longest oval track you can select on the service. And Bradley and I, we were shocked when we got to join into the session and see it. But hey, it's definitely going to be exciting. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Bradley Cooper, and cameras are provided by Dougie Beard. Bradley, let's bring you into this, man. I just said I'm shocked, but I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a unique scenario. We've been doing bigger tracks on the schedule with Nashville and Iowa. I thought, well, it's not going to get any bigger than that. This is as big as it gets when it comes to ovals. You can't go any faster. You can't go any more three wide. It's going to be epic. I hope everyone's excited for this.
It's going to be a great show. 2.66 miles in length for Talladega Super Speedway. 33 degrees of banking in the corners, so you're no slight of elevation. It definitely means we got to pull out the gyro cam at some point tonight, but we're going to get a little special edition tonight of the broadcast. We'll get to cover a little bit of qualifying, but obviously, as you can see, a little bit extra track info for us. 4.28 kilometers if you're over in anywhere else not in America using the metric system or anything like that. I don't know why we use the metric system. Who knows? I like it. I like even numbers. But as you can see, opened in 1969. Used to actually be an Air Force base right on the Talladega grounds, and it was repurposed to build a racetrack. And that way, everyone at NASCAR wanted something just a little bit bigger, a little bit bolder than Daytona. Move the start-finish line and everything. And this is Talladega. As you can see, the points as they stand, 44 points separate Aaron Johnson, Kyle Turzak, both winners in this season. Turzak has 2, Johnson has 1, Ryan Kuhn has the other back at Iowa. And you might say 44 points and then 100 points for Robert Taylor. That's a lot, but we pay out over 100 points per race. So really, you can take big swings here and there. And with this 16-car field we're going to have tonight, those points will vary widely from first to last. 71 is on the board right now. This is Thomas Dean. Currently, his last lap was a 44.8, and it was him obviously getting everything switched up with getting past the line and on pit road. Sometimes you can get a really fast lap in there, but it does not count to that point. But the 71 going for his lap this time by. His last one was a 58.551.
I don't know if he's going to have enough time here, Scott, to make it back around for this lap. I mean, yeah, he was waiting for quite a while. It's definitely going to be close down to the wire. Currently, William Hale with the best of 53.009. And next best is just off by 100th of a second. But coming down to it, this is going to be close. And remember, start-finish line all the way down near turn 1. He's not going to make it, Bradley. No, he is not. He's going to be about 3 seconds short to make it back. Yep.
Oh, man. So very close. And I had seen he joined in for qualifying for quite a while, was sitting on pit road, but just had not elected to go out yet. So the 71 will not put down a time and will have to be selected his start by his I rating. So William Hale will get to start up front. And Travis Owens, his first front row start in his career in the Misfit Summer Series. Then it'll be Kyle Turzak starting in third. Aaron Johnson, your winner from a last race, will start in fourth. And Ryan Flood, new race driver this season in the 98. Then Trevor Ward will start sixth. Larson Parker, been a standout in the standings so far, been up there for some of the laps, but has been trying to get around for it. Then Dylan Delaney will start in 8th in his number 20 car. Rounding out the top 10 will be the next 2 drivers, Kyle Adams and Robert Taylor.
11 spot's going to go to the 12 of Matt Mingo. Ryan Kuhn electing not to take a time. The rest of these drivers did not run a qualifying time. Julian Valdez will start 13th with Brad Carter 14th. Then you have Will Vanover, Jason Knight in 16th, and 17 car field with Thomas Dean, who we watched try his attempt at a time about 4 seconds short there of the start-finish line. A unique characteristic of this racetrack, Scott, the start-finish line is past the tri-ovals. A lot of tri-oval tracks we go to, it's right in the center of that front stretch. Here, you have an additional 1,100 feet to make that pass and that run out of turn 4. It makes for a lot of photo finishes.
It's something that we see really play a factor getting off turn 4, and you have such a long runway. And when at Daytona at the super speedway, with it being right in the center of the tri-oval, you don't get that as long of a run, but you get all the way to the run to near the end of the grandstands right there. And so all of our drivers, 17 cars, have gridded up, put themselves onto the grid. I don't even know what to expect, Bradley. I mean, seeing practice speeds and qualifying speeds, they run about the same speed as the Cup car, maybe just about 5 or 10 miles an hour less, and that is significant, of course, but I mean, they're still running 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, they actually cut the power back on these cars to 90% for tonight. They were complaining that there was a lot of scrubbing of the tires, and by the end of a 10, 12 lap run, there was nothing left. They were frying the right rears off of it. So they dialed the power back. Of course, a fast repair in this event as well, with 4 tire sets available just in case those tires are still scrubbing off. You get these guys in a pack, I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to go right back to that 190 plus miles per hour into the corners, and it's going to burn these things up.
Yeah, who knows how many pit stops these drivers will have to make tonight. As always, it's 3 green, white, checkered attempts. We don't always get the fast repair, but we'll get one here tonight, and it is fixed setups tonight. This league and Misfit Racing League, always known for open setups, but tonight, with drivers not being able to know where they were going until an hour before, it is going to be fixed setups. Last time we did this, it was the LA Coliseum, and you couldn't get more opposite than this.
I can tell you the track temperature is not going to help with this either, and you're right, it couldn't get any more opposing to what they did short track wise. For everything short track is their motto, and we're at the biggest racetrack that NASCAR ever visits. 2.66 miles is going to put on an epic show. Hope you're excited. The pace car, 1 to green, we're ready to go.
It's definitely the first time Bradley and I have had the pleasure of being able to call Talladega Super Speedway together. Like you said, we're always doing the short tracks, so this is going to get interesting. I think it's going to get wild. It always really gets wild with the Misfit Racing League and the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. It's race number 5, and we are racing, and we will be green at Talladega Super Speedway. Start for the bottom lane. William Hale had control at the beginning in his number 62. Terzak able to go ahead and gain a spot. Travis Owen will move down to the bottom lane. 4 cars now single file, now 5 with Larson Parker in the 18. 5 abreast.
We're already up to full song, 187 miles per hour down the back straightaway for the 62 of William Hale, holding it up front. The draft working though, the outside already starting to get collected.
Ryan Flood having a great run from 5th to 3rd on the outside, but now he's starting to lose that speed he had down the front straightaway. He'll get a little bit of a push. There's a bit of a bubble between him and Larson Parker. Now he'll look inside. Hale went up top to block, but he misses it. To the lead, Ryan Flood.
I'm not sure if they've implemented the yellow line rule, but you saw the 15 of Terzak just trying to take it below that. He is riding this apron, and you have to be careful. You get that left side off of that transition, it'll upset the car instantly, and you'll spin out.
Look at this, 3 wide already, and the 24 of Kyle Adams up on the top side. Hale, he'll go up to block. Momentum is up there with them. Larson Parker, it is 3 wide for 2nd place. Here comes the 20 of Delaney. Falling back is the 15 of Terzak. Yeah, he is, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Missed the block with Ryan Flood, but now he's able to hold off the 24 of Adams.
When you play defense like that, it could come back to bite you. We talk about partnerships, and this is a drafting track. You have to have a partner. And if you're the guy up front all race long, blocking everybody and keeping them at bay, eventually they're going to figure out a way to get around you. You can't do this forever, and you'll be a sitting duck. Look how much of a run. We do not see that in a Cup car. Look how far Kyle Adams and William Hale got away from this pack as the 20 lost the right rear.
Delaney losing the right rear up into the wall. He's going to have some damage because of that. He'll go all the way to the back of the pack and will lose the draft. And they're wrecking up front. Julian Valdez is around. Same with Ryan Flood. Caution is out. Oh, and Ryan Flood hard into the wall with the front nose. 62 of William Hale is involved too.
We're just about to go back and see what happened to the 20. This might have saved him, actually, from getting involved in that incident. Watch right here. He had some contact with a car on the outside and then just slides up the racetrack. Front end just slides around and then up front.
So looked like maybe a move from Larson Parker. He made the move down low, a little contact between him and Hale, and then it evolved from there. I want to go back and look at Julian Valdez. Looks like he gets a bump from the 12 of Matt Mingo, and that's where this really starts. Watching along with Julian Valdez, he looks low. Then Matt Mingo, bit of a block there. Yeah, actually looks like Matt Mingo got tagged by Flood first.
Let's see if we can get a better angle of that. It looked like there was just such a big run happening.
It looked like maybe a bit of a checkup from Larson Parker sliding back down the track, and that might have stacked these drivers up just a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be a tag from the 98 of Ryan Flood into the back of the 12 of Matt Mingo, and it really shuffled forward from there.
In any car that you bring here, it doesn't matter if it's intended to be here or not. You're going to see
There's the checkup.
You're going to see checkups. You're going to see big runs. You're going to see guys run into the back of one another because you can't see what's happening.
No, let's ride on board with the 98 if we can. See what he could see and really get to look along with saying, hey, there's really nothing he could see here with being able to check up. This is the 98. This is Ryan Flood who will eventually make the contact. That is the bright red car of Larson Parker. 21's going to have to check up. Yeah, they just kind of move into line. Flood, he was kind of coming up right when the checkup was happening.
Almost kept it off the wall, but bounces the inside. And thankfully, we have fast repairs.
We do, and the first 5 cars will elect to stay out. Larson Parker, Kyle Adams, Robert Taylor, as well as Trevor Ward and Jason Knight, excuse me. Everyone else will come into the pit lane, most of them for regular service, but plenty of them after that incident to fix some of the damage. I don't think anyone probably will elect to use their fast repair right now, Bradley. You get so long under these pace laps, and wow, look at that, Cam. You get so long under these pace laps to be able to fix damage that unless you have some sort of catastrophic damage, I'd want to save it until later.
Yeah, this is one of those, if you burn it now, you might need it later. If you could afford a lot of laps left here, the likelihood of another caution, I'd hate to say it, but it's pretty high at this place. So there's a chance you could come back in and get the car fixed up naturally. And, you know, you want that fast repair to not lose track position later in the race. If you're up front and a bunch of cars get involved in something and you have that fast repair, you're going to get out ahead of all of those guys. I think it's wise to hold on to it for as long as you possibly can.
William Hale spent 22 seconds in the box, and then it was 45 seconds for Ryan Flood and 47 seconds for Julian Valdez. Only driver still in the pit box is the 71 of Thomas Dean. So now he just came out. He's on the pit lane exiting now. So not a lot of damage taken for a lot of these drivers. Who knows if they're all fully repaired at this point, but I think probably best of what we would have expected out of that incident and no true catastrophic damage.
I can confirm that 3 cars did use their fast repair on this one, Scott.
Okay.
William Hale, Julian Valdez, and Dylan Delaney, all 3 have used it. So
I've got a 4th in there too.
Yeah.
Let's see who else used it. Oh, Matt Mingo, he used it.
Yep.
And I will say about that too, sometimes you get just the tiniest bit of damage, and if you forget to turn it off, iRacing will use it.
This time, I think that's what happened to some of these guys because they had came in and, like you said, had 40 seconds in the box, came back down a second time to get the rest of it repaired, and then boom, your car's instantly done, and you wasted it. So you got to uncheck that box every time. That's one of the frustrating things about virtual racing. You can't just yell at your crew and say, "Hey, don't put the magic wand out. I just need a fender."
Yep. And that is going to be catastrophic, or it could be catastrophic if we do get another incident. I think we played it very nicely, Bradley, through those first 4 laps that I was thinking, okay, we're in a good spot here, and everything is going well, and then you can just see these cars you can't really push in. Yes,
that's
short
what it
track
was.
aggression and different cars. A lot of these drivers that if they do any sort of super speedway racing, every car that is built for super speedway racing is built with bumpers and fronts, front and rear bumpers, I should say, that don't lift the car in front of you up.
Well, the Gen 4, I'll go to that one. That's about the only one, and even that's not monitoring. You know, all of the trucks, the C, the B, all of those vehicles, like you said, they have a flat front end. They've got bumpers that are tapered all the way down to the ground. They're built for bump drafting. These cars are not. They are wedged out. You can see the fuel tank off the back end, and Corey Bodie wraps on the back there of the 24. That nose will go right up under that.
Well, and to explain it further as well, when your nose does get up under there, it starts to unload the suspension on the rear tires, and that makes a driver immediately get loose because there's not all that force pushing down into the rear tires, allowing them to have that grip on the racetrack. So pace car will pull off again. As you can see, only 4 cars doubled up. Everyone else had to elect to start in a single file line on the bottom, with having to come into the pits and exiting a closed pit. So we will go back to green. 6 laps complete, 35 to go.
This is, again, one of those tracks where you don't want to break away from the field. You're reliant on everyone around you. A big start like you would see at Five Flags or Nashville doesn't mean anything. They're going to catch up to you. You saw Adams. He fell back a little bit, already on offense. Going to push the 66 of Rob Taylor. Who's going to work with who? 18 of Larson Parker. Very aggressive. Elevator move to the outside.
Robert Taylor swiftly down to the bottom. Larson Parker threw a block up top. It did not stick. Taylor out to the lead. As for the moment, look at the 24 of Adams. He's able to push Parker really well, but Parker had lost momentum from throwing that block, and Adams is just stuck behind. He'll go to the outside now.
Saw how aggressive he was. Maybe it wasn't so much aggression as the car was maybe upset. We don't see it too often, but you try to make a move like that down the backstretch, you overdo it. You have to really overcorrect to keep that car straight. And he's struggling. He's falling back.
Yeah, Parker just really unsettled in that number 18, not able to hold that thing in a straight line, even holding the wheel left in the corners, just moving all around. Now he's got some momentum moving up to the back of the 02 of Travis Owens. Adams on the rear bumper trying to give him a bit of a push, but William Hale, he's looking outside for second spot on Trevor Ward.
Have you seen so much counter steer in Talladega? Look at that.
No, I have not. He's going to have a run this time. So will Adams. 3 wide for second spot once again. Trevor Ward in line, 3rd position on the inside line, 5th overall. Adams will stall out now. The side draft going to be big plays here. A little bit of contact between Adams and Hale.
And you can just see it. These guys are steering to the right to go left all the way through this corner. It's bobbling, it's weaving. They're back and forth, and they still take it 3 wide. That is brave.
Parker all the way up towards the wall. Most drivers inside line. Robbie Taylor scoots up to try to block the 24 of Adams. Now Hale will have a run to the inside. But Adams, still a strong run of his own. Doesn't have any help, though.
Defined help, I mean, you can have a guy up on your rear spoiler, but as squirrely as this car is right now, I'd want somebody to back away from me in these corners. And I definitely don't want to push on the straightaway. That's going to make it even worse, but here it comes.
Here it comes, and it's going to unsettle Robbie Taylor. I don't know if I want anyone to touch me at all. I rarely do, even when I'm super speedway racing in any regular car that can take these bumps and these hits with their flat noses and flat rears. But look at how squirrely some of these cars are up off the corners. Crazy to say that at a super speedway.
Like the dirt late model would rival some of this driving right now. That's about the only thing I can think of. They are drifting as the car's in the wall. I think that's the 02 of Owens.
Owens has trouble on the entry to 3, will fall back now, probably likely to the back of the pack. Up towards the front again, Hale. He'll finally get a move to the outside of Robbie Taylor. But the real question is, will the momentum be able to hold? It looks like for the moment it stalls.
Just barely across the line by about 3, maybe 2 thousandths of a second.
Outside!
That's a big run here for the 24.
And yet it stalls out so quickly. William Hale had a bit of a moment into turn 1, so he went from battling for the lead back to now 7th spot. Larson Parker, he went from 7th all the way back into 1st. We're gonna have a big wreck, little bit. 71, Thomas Dean into the wall. I say big wreck, it was one car. Could have been much, much worse, but Thomas Dean got a tag from a driver behind, and it put it right front into the wall. Thomas Dean got tagged by the 16 of Ward. That's who it was. Ward had a whole head of steam. Was trying to give a bit of a bump to the 71, and the 71 was already in the wall himself. So the RUK Offshore replay will show you some of the madness happening down the back straightaway. Thank goodness it wasn't worse, but it is rough for Thomas Dean, who will not get the caution as well, so he'll go straight to the back of the pack and will lose the draft. Ryan Flood, he was it is a hard decision. Adams isn't really going to defend either. He's going to get split. Flood goes outside. Larson Parker looks up inside. That is real tight between the two.
They leaned on each other a little bit there on the apex. 24 was definitely on that door of the 18, and somehow they were able to hold on to that. There was no racetrack left below Larson Parker. So thank goodness that they didn't make more contact than that. They most likely would have taken out the leaders.
Could have easily ended poorly for those two drivers if they had been any closer together. Larson Parker back to the front. Flood, he's going to hit the apron. Nearly came up, and the yellow flag is out nearly as Adams almost lost it himself.
In the background, Jason Knight looks like Travis Owens sideways going to back out of the session. But man, what a save there by the 24 just prior to that. I was about to say impressive. And then
oh my goodness, this is, whoa. Travis Owens inside of Knight. And Knight just gets slipped around, was already vulnerable inside the corner. Look at the run here from Owens. He's gonna go with the inside over Vanover, under 13 of Knight, and just turns him right around. And they just get stuck together. That is aggressive, and oh my goodness.
All right, this is what I was talking about. On board with Adams.
Oh,
That's only at 180.
oh my goodness.
Code
Brown,
better.
change of pants.
Yeah, it looked even better from the other angle there. Watch this.
Oh my goodness, that could have easily gone so terrible for the 24 of Adams. And got the caution really at the perfect moment. Probably would have lost a couple spots with the losing of his momentum. 14 laps complete so far. Bradley, I feel like already we've been racing for forever.
That's the pace laps at Talladega. That's the downside of a place this big. Yes, it provides epic lead changes and 3 wide, and multi-group racing, of course, is very easy to do in that aspect. But if a caution does come out, you get to spend the next 2.5 minutes a lap listening to us make things up.
Now, definitely having a ton of fun up here in the booth with you and our cameras provided by Dougie Beard. You're getting all the shots, everything. That gyro cam is really cool to watch. We know we'll get to look at it a couple more times tonight. I imagine this is one of those nights where you pretty much bring it down the pit lane every chance you get.
Yeah, as far as fuel goes, the numbers were just short, so these guys are going to top off every chance they can. Plus, with the 4 tire sets, it's not really going to penalize you to come down here and use a couple. I mean, we've had, what, 2 cautions here in 14 laps. That's about on par to what they would do to use all 4 of these. If they did 1 every 10 laps, that's pretty good.
Left side's up for most of the drivers this time. Larson Parker going to have a really nice exit there. That was really good. I honestly had it in neutral, threw it into first, a little bit of a wheel spin to get those tires warm. And Parker gets away nice and cleanly. He'll come off second. Robbie Taylor will beat him off by a nice margin. Looks like he might have taken two. Yeah, he took 2 tires there, fuel only, one of the 2.
Yeah, it looks like 10 seconds in the box. So for Robbie Taylor, it's going to be the lead for now. You have Larson Parker, Ryan Kuhn, Ryan Flood, William Hale, who's proven he can lead some laps here today. Kyle Adams has been up front a few times. A lot of hungry cars. And then last week's winner, who's been pretty quiet. We haven't said his name really at all tonight other than grid. It's Aaron Johnson, who had that victory at Nashville. Fantastic drive there last week. And pretty epic finish.
It was a lot of fun. And Aaron Johnson was very excited to be back in victory lane, his second of his career in the Misfit Summer Series, presented by RUK Offshore. His first came 1 season ago at Oxford Plains Speedway. You know, it's interesting, Bradley. We're seeing a bit of different players today. Obviously, we're still seeing Taylor and Parker, and now we've got Kuhn up near the front, Hale and Johnson, but guys like Adams and Delaney, Brad Carpenter, who we haven't talked much about this season, they're kind of mixing it up in this top 5. So I think this is one of those days that if you're a driver that might not feel confident in being able to beat a guy like Kyle Turzak or a guy like Ryan Kuhn or Aaron Johnson, the 3 winners so far from this season, this is probably your best opportunity to get that win.
What makes it even better is Turzak has had some problems. And so not up front for a lot of this. You saw how fast they shuffled the 15 out of there. And he's actually coming back down pit road. I think he picked up some damage here at some point in this race. So he's came down pit road every chance he's gotten just to see if he could get this car fixed all the way back up. Top off with fuel. You also see the O2 of Owens still trying to get that car fixed. The 13 of Jason Knight had to burn his fast repair. So another driver that's had to claim that. And I know that
one wasn't surprising.
Yeah, the back end of that car was gone. You could see the fill neck off of the fuel cell. That means that car is not going to be aerodynamic at all. And if it wasn't bad enough that we couldn't bump draft, now you're going to run into a guy's fuel tank.
Yeah, no, definitely not ideal. And you mentioned everything with Turzak. Another element of this race tonight are the fixed setups. You know, all these drivers get time during the week to be able to make their adjustments, things that make them feel more comfortable in the race car. That's not an opportunity you've gotten here tonight. It's the setup that you're dealt with, and so there may be some things as a driver that the setup doesn't quite fit your style, and there's really nothing you could change about it.
Yeah, that setup, that whole scenario in itself, I didn't even really put that together, but you're right. A lot of these guys rely on the open setups to have that advantage, have that edge, and when you're on a level playing field, sometimes that's a different mindset. You know, there's some drivers that are more confident with an even setup.
Well, and driver talent can absolutely overcome a car's shortcomings, but car's greatness or everything will not be overcome by the lack thereof of driver talent. Obviously, Turzak has the talent, and this is a completely different game than anything we normally race at, but he's having issues tonight, whether it be with the car or with the track. But don't worry, next race we go at Five Flag Speedway, I bet you he's going to be up front a lot of the time if he doesn't do it tonight. Robert Taylor, Larson Parker make up the front row. We are back to green at Talladega Super Speedway. That's still fun to say.
And you see the outside a lot more organized this time around. This restart, Taylor and Parker jump out to the lead. They dive down to the inside. Parker already thinking about taking it out to the outside. The block down the backstretch. Not enough to break the momentum. Here's the run with Hale.
It's interesting as well. It doesn't seem like you need that much help from somebody behind you, really, because these drivers can't push too much. I imagine there is some of that air bubble of what used to be in the day of the COT and the Gen 4, as you spoke of earlier. There was that bubble to be able to push with it rather than the physical body of the car. And there's probably some of that going on with these super late models, but we're seeing a lot of drivers be able to generate momentum runs on their own.
Well, and there's that bubble you're talking about. We'll show it here on on the nose of the 62 William Hale. He doesn't have to get up on the back end and push the 18. He just has to get enough air off that rear spoiler, reduces the drag on the car, and picks up 2 or 3 miles per hour. Could be all the difference you need to pull away from this field. You look behind him, these guys behind doing the same thing, but Kyle Adams is working it to a T. He knows what he's doing here in this car. He has went from 5th, 6th position up to the top spot several times in this race.
Adams is someone I'm looking at to maybe be able to dice it up later on in this race and maybe get his first win in the super late models in the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. Once he's gotten into this top 5, he really hasn't left it. Look who's behind him, though. You mentioned him under the pace laps, a driver we hadn't mentioned much at all today. Your winner from last race, Sarah Johnson.
The 16 of Trevor Ward with a big run. Adams is going to drop down. He sees that momentum.
Johnson has a big moment. He's going to go up top to that 3rd lane, and then he's going to lose a handful of spots, and quickly at that. He's going to drop all the way to the back.
Watch the speed down the backstretch. It's going to get over 190.
Ward's going to make the move. He's going to go outside. Parker, he's going to block the 24, but look at Ward. He's still got the run. Not enough time for Parker to slide up the track. All the while, it's 3 wide for the lead with Adams looking low. Parker's going to get eaten alive. It's door to door, nose to nose at the line or out of the corner for Ward and Adams.
And you saw that move there. Adams got up on the back end of the 18. He didn't have to touch him. He just got that air off that spoiler. It's great down the straightaway, but when you're going into the corner, the back end steps out, and you slide up out of the way. So it's basically like bumping a guy, a bump and run, but he didn't even have to touch him.
Trevor Ward, first lap led of this season for the Misfit Summer Series Season 3. So Ward finding his way up towards the front. He's a name we haven't mentioned this season who might have that shot tonight to get his first career win. Robbie Taylor, we've been talking about him a good bit. He's been fast, especially on the longer racetracks like Iowa and Nashville Super Speedway. But at this Super Speedway, he's been very handy.
7 laps led, about to get his 8th. He can hold on to it here, and speaking of holding on to it, the 18 of Parker again sideways.
That flood was a bit in that right rear quarter panel. It was a miracle that they didn't get connected, and it could have been much worse between them. Adams doing some blocking of his own on drivers behind, trying to block the 12 of Matt Mingo.
You can just see that downhill out of turn 2, how much momentum these cars gain. Look at Kyle Adams again to the outside. Contact with the 98. Then the contact with the 18 down off the apron. More door touches.
Ward gonna back out of it as not to get into the left rear of Parker, but that was 3 times we likely should have wrecked between the 24, 98, 18, and 66, and yet here we are, still good out of turn 4. That was sketchy.
18 are going to peek into the middle. He has the 12 to the outside. There's Matt Mingo picking up some spots. 8 positions gained down the... Just 20 to go.
20 laps to go, halfway complete in this race. And whoa, big moment for Matt Mingo. You can see the air really disrupting these drivers, especially in the corners. Obviously, it's a little bit easier down the straightaways to be able to hold it all good.
That's
Parker.
Man, these things are on edge all the time.
And that's, I mean, there aren't enough words for how these look. Squirrely is about the best thing I can say. Matt Mingo up towards the top side. Look, Brad Carpenter, he's entered the picture. He's up into the top 5. Allowed Matt Mingo and pushed him up towards the front here. But Parker, he will not go away.
Carpenter has the momentum to take it 3 wide. He will do that into turn 1. But where do you go after that? We've seen it so many times. These guys get up here and take the lead away, and then the momentum is just gone. There's all that air packed on the nose. It's like flying a kite suddenly.
Carpenter gets tight up in turns 1 and 2. Lose momentum down the straightaway. Trevor Ward, he is flying back. Look at him go. He's looking like Superman on the outside line.
16 almost had the momentum, but he has the help from the 66, broke it up. Taylor got into the wall. He falls back a couple spots behind Carpenter. going to end up getting split by the 72 and the 21. Julian Valdez is going to pick up a position now.
With all the shuffling behind Larson Parker, he's been kind of able to hang out on his own, not have to do too much defense, but now it'll come back into play. Big draft, big run from the 24 and the 98 of Ryan Flood. That driver outside of that second lane. He'll lose the momentum though because he's lost his help.
And it's starting to, I think we're starting to see the tires start to wear again. We're right around that 10 lap mark on the stint, and that's where everybody was questioning why. That's the reason why we're down on power here tonight at 90%, is because this track is so abrasive and these cars are not designed to go 190 miles per hour. They are squatting on the right rear, burning it off. It's a handful to say the least, and they're doing a fantastic job. Look at the block there from Parker, trying to break the momentum. Adams went to the outside. They're almost 3 wide again. Big run here.
Look at Brad Carpenter, looks outside, doesn't have it at the line. It was Adams at the line, but Carpenter will use all that momentum, go around Adams. He's clear of Parker now, solo for the 31, but it's 3 wide once again for second place between Adams, Ward, and Parker. Parker, the 18 on the bottom, Ward, that white 16 up top, and Adams in the middle in the black 24. Ward will peek to the outside of the 31. Adams will look down low now.
And they split him again. Which line do you pick? You have to commit to one or the other. If you don't choose one, you're going to get this. Parker had it earlier. Adams has had it a few times. You can't block them both. You got to choose one. Instead, he put the car trying to double it up, and they got to the inside and outside, and you just lose 3 spots like that.
It's really tough when you get split like that. It's not easy to be able to defend these drivers, to be able to defend these cars. And there we go. Ryan Flood going to get tagged in the right rear for the 31 of Carpenter. Oh, man. Ryan Flood was able to save it down below the apron, but Brad Carpenter was not. Wheels are flying, and fenders and bodies and suspensions are destroyed.
Adams, catch that tire.
Nearly did.
That's his.
Caution is out once again. I thought for a second we were going to be able to keep it going because Ryan Flood did a wonderful job of saving that race car, but Brad Carpenter obviously was not able to do the same. This is where the question comes into play, Bradley, of did anyone get involved that has already used their fast repair?
I'd say a couple of them, yes. We just had, I would say, 7 different cars involved in this. There's the initial contact.
Flood tagged the right rear of the 24 of Adams, and that's where it really, really went haywire. Julian Valdez, he got more contact. I know he's already used his fast repair. Let's get another look at this. Adams just going to get swiped here, right up hard into the outside wall. Terzak, he's going to get some damage. Ryan Kuhn looks like he got a bit of a piece of it. Thomas Dean, he's used his repair.
Look at this. The 98 slides off. I mean, I know he chips
the
24 there,
goodness.
But that's a hard lick there for the 24. I mean, even on a direct drive, I know we're racing virtually, but a direct drive wheel, that could break your thumbs right there. But Terzak almost came down and got the 98 after that epic save. He shot it down to the apron and was able to straighten that car out. Of course, Terzak and getting a piece of it. Yeah, I could see right offhand 3 cars that have already burned a fast repair tonight that were a little bit involved in this.
Yeah. Adams, luckily for himself, will have a fast repair. So what a turn of events and a massive, massive crash into turn 1.
We're going to take a quick break here on V-Speed. You're watching the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore and the Mystery Night at Talladega. More coverage right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Real quick, you both stop the real quick touch. Double check the steering wheel.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
All out there. Nice and smooth. Get it all done all day long. Got a good feeling about today, guys.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. GC Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome back. Lights are off on the pace car at Talladega Superspeedway, and we will have only 10 laps remaining when we go back green. We just got back from a large incident in turn 1 involving the 31, 98, 72. Pretty much half the field was involved. Kyle Turzak, 21, Julian Valdez, plenty of others that I'm probably forgetting off the top of my head. But man, a lot of them having fast repairs, but some of them not able to use them again. Travis Owens, he's been in the pits for a long time. Kyle Adams has been a while, even though he had his repair. So there's going to be some cars that might have damage at the rear of this pack, and we'll have to see if they can keep up and keep in line. So Bradley, we've got 10 to go. We've seen some big moves, some big slides. What do you expect?
It was already interesting enough, but now we're in the second half of this race. We're coming up to 10 to go. I expect 100% aggression. Drivers that maybe just got caught out in that wreck to try to work their way back to the front. The guys that haven't been up here all day, that have been playing the patience game and waiting until the end of this race to try to make their way to the front if they're not already there trying to defend it.
So, a lot more double file this time than we had last restart. It'll be 10 laps remaining from race number 5 of the Misfit Summer Series, presented by RUK Offshore.
We're seeing two familiar names up front with William Hale and Larson Parker. This is kind of how the race started out. You have Trevor Ward up there. He's been the asterisk all day. He could be the upset in this race. You also have the 24, Kyle Adams, who had to burn a fast repair, got heavy damage, lost the front end of the car. Kyle Turzak, a favored driver, won the $100 bonus there in the halfway point of the season. He's deep in this field, back in 14th.
Deep in the field for the 15 of Turzak, but we got big movement in this mid-pack for the moment. Up top, 62 of Hale blocking the 16 of Trevor Ward. It's the 20 of Dylan Delaney, 71 of Thomas Dean. Dean gonna make him move it down low. He'll have a great run. He'll try to get picked up by the 18 of Larson Parker. Thomas Dean from hard into the outside wall out of turn 2 to up into the top 5.
Yeah, had a lot of problems there to start the race. But again, the fast repair or the patience of coming in and out of pit road. Thomas Dean did have to use it the last time. And he's going for broke now. It's either going to work or he's going to be out of this race. He gets down below the apron there slightly. A little contact with the 18. Able to hold on.
Dean leading that bottom line in that bright red and yellow and black 71 up top at the 62 of William Hale and Trevor Ward, then Dylan Delaney, the first three cars. Larson Parker, that 18 on the bottom row, then Julian Valdez. Top lane starting to get shuffled, but this is the most organized, really, the pack has looked all evening.
Yeah, I think right now they're just trying to tick these laps away. You're starting to premeditate your moves. Before it was, let's see how fast we can get to the front. These guys were testing the waters. They were seeing what this car, what the limitation was, and we found it a few times. But now you're premeditating. You're negotiating moves with guys. Maybe you're in a Discord channel together. You're talking it over when we're going to do this. But it's all hypothetical, right, Scott? You can go over it 1,000 times, but it never works out exactly the way you imagine it.
It's always instinctual. You gotta have a plan and hope that it's gonna go the way you expect, but this is super speedway racing. If you get down into the moment off turn 4 or making the move in turn 3, it's gonna be instinctual what you do, and you just have to hope you have the skills and have had the practice to be able to do it. A lot of these short track drivers, at least in this league, they don't do much super speedway racing. And oh, contact Larson Parker. He's gonna have to jump below the yellow line after a bit of left rear quarter contact with Trevor Ward, but he'll be able to keep it going, but he'll lose a handful of spots.
Gotta go back and look at that really quickly. Watch this contact. Sent the 18 down below. That is really close call there.
And it was Parker moving up and the 16 of Ward also trying to make a move down. So it was kind of 2 into 1 spot and it really didn't work.
That could have been
Again,
a lot worse.
It could have been bad. Ward now in the middle on the bottom line, but losing momentum. He's actually being pushed by Parker. Parker will shuffle down to that bottom lane, now in line with the bright 31 green of Brad Carpenter.
And here comes Julian Valdez to lead his first lap of the day. Haven't mentioned the 21 up front at all. I said it. There's going to be guys that were sitting back all day. And pinch there, 12 into the wall. Big problems back here at Parker.
And another big crash, and Adams going to come in at the bottom and get collected. Oh, you could feel it coming. That was just so tight between those three. Parker may be one of the only drivers today not to use his fast repair. Only 4 drivers in this field have not used it today. Robbie Taylor and the 18 of Parker, 2 of those drivers. And they'll get collected in this. Trevor Ward, he gets collected. And look at Adams just coming in at the bottom, innocent in this.
You can watch it right here from the blimp camera. There's going to be a pinch down on the 12, and that's where he comes up a little bit. The 66 is coming down at the same time, and it's just a sandwich for the 18. Nowhere to go. 16 does not lift at all, runs right into the back of him, and that's the checkup we're talking about. It happens so fast. In slow motion, it's easy to say that, but you saw Kyle Adams down there. You just mentioned he has nowhere to go, nowhere to react, and it's just happening so quickly, Scott.
Take long with Adams. He's actually getting loose. He almost turned down on the 15 of Parker. Starts to see this incident and pulls down. Oh, this is so frustrating. You're so far back and it comes down right in front of you.
I believe that was the 15 of Terzak that had gotten into the back of Adams, trying to give him a bump to catch back up. The 18 of Larson Parker's gonna keep his fast repair.
Interesting. At this point, this is exactly when I'd be using it. If I was one of these drivers that had just been involved in this.
That left front, he's going to have to use it. There's no way this car gets fixed in time.
No, definitely not. You can see that left front wobbling around. Handfuls of drivers are electing and coming to them. Oh yeah, that will not survive.
Yeah, he's going to have to bring it in.
So a big late race incident at Talladega Superspeedway. It's going to lead us to likely either a natural green-white checkered or our first of 3 potential green-white checkers. But look at that, 16 lead changes. It has been really fun to watch these drivers dice it up.
With those 4 cautions, it's reset this field a few times. You know, you go back to the beginning of this race and you saw the breakaways and some of the guys had gotten out because there's a breakup in the draft. We had a split, Scott, of about 7 cars that had pulled away from the rest of this field because they were all kind of sitting back waiting to see what was going on. Maybe not familiar with the setup, you know, fixed setup like we said, and it took a while to get used to it. I think you get acclimated. Plus the fact that we race short tracks in this series. So when you go to Talladega, this is night and day. This is like getting hit with a defibrillator while you're still.
Where we're going to get to say that whoever wins tonight will be the inaugural winner of a true super speedway drafting track race in the Misfit Racing League overall. This has never been done before in any of the leagues that they run in the Touring Series or the Summer Series or any of the others. So this is going to be a first for someone that will be able to hold this over the rest of the league's head and saying, I won our first ever super speedway race.
And the bragging rights that go with that, you know, this could be the only time we ever come here in Misfit. Not to say that it's not always up on the ballot. There is a vote.
We're gonna have more mystery nights.
Yeah, absolutely a possibility. But
and a reminder to everyone. Yeah, go ahead.
500. Remember that we went there, and Misfit had Daytona. So there was that. That was the biggest event that I think MRL's ever put on. And as far as the drivers and the talent, there was a lot of guys from this series that were racing in that.
It was a lot of fun to get to call the MRL 500. It was a ton of fun. We'll get to hopefully do it again next year, but as well as a reminder of something coming up at the end of the year. This year, it'll be season 4 of the Misfit Touring Series. We'll be starting up around November, a 15-race season all the way till we crown a championship in March of 2027. So a reminder that we'll take a break when it comes to the 15th of September when we crown a champion for the Summer Series, and then we will be in full swing for the Summer Series come November, and it's going to be all brought to you right here on V-Speed, so you don't want to miss out on it. And we're glad you're tuning in now, because if you haven't been excited so far, well, I could say this finish is probably going to get exciting.
Almost a natural green-white checkered. We'll have 3 to go when we take the green flag. Remember, we do have 3 attempts at that green-white checkered if we do need to extend this race. And based off of the action we've seen so far, I'm willing to bet we use at least 1.
I would say I would not be surprised if we use all 3. I hope we get to our natural end. It'll be 3 to go at the line. Valdez leading for the first time today. It's Valdez and Carpenter. We talked about Valdez a good bit at Iowa until he had a late race moment and was out of the race. But Brad Carpenter, we've mentioned him before, but never really in contention for the race win. So it's really a great open opportunity for some of these drivers. And look at Will Vanover. He was running outside the top 10 for most of this night, and he's in 4th.
Or those guys that sat back, let the car come to them, let the race come to them. You can't win this on the first lap. You can't win it on lap 20. You have to lead to the checkered flag. That's the only way that you become victorious, have the bragging rights. You go down in MRL history. It's the first super speedway winner in the Summer Series. You have to be patient. And I think that a lot of these guys need to go back to that. Just think for the next lap and a half, size it up. Don't do anything crazy. Don't do anything you wouldn't do on lap 1. Because it could end right here. You could be completely out of this. A lot of fast repairs burn. Julian Valdez is one of them. So is Brad Carpenter. There's more cars than not that have had to use at least 1 fast repair here tonight. And I'm telling you, the action's about to get really good with Valdez into turn 1. Wheel spin on the outside.
A lot easier said than done when it comes to trying to build up the move and build up your momentum. Spin on the outside for Carpenter with the wheels, so he'll lose a little bit of ground for that from the front row, but William Hale already looking outside. This is the battle for 3rd, right behind with Johnson, but Hale, he'll use all that momentum and go up around the 21.
Able to take away the lead. Coming up on 2 to go, you can see the momentum swing. Here comes the 72. of Kuhn out of nowhere passes 3 cars to the lead.
Ryan Kuhn, we know him as the short track ace, one in the top 10 in iRating in all of the iRacing surface when it comes to pavement ovals. But look at him, the super speedway man. He's up top and up front with 2 to go remaining. You know that he's good, you know that he's one of the best, but boy, it is surprising to see him up front as super speedway. It's not a reflection at any of his talent because he is just so good, but these drivers are all really out of their element. He's getting split now, going back to third, and look at this. Johnson, winner from Nashville Super Speedway. He's leading at Talladega Super Speedway.
Looking to go back-to-back at the big tracks. 78 up on point. It doesn't mean much. There's still a lap and a half to go. Down the back straightaway, the 98 of Ryan Flood to the outside. Big push from the 62 of William Hale, and there's trouble in the back. We're going to get the green-white checkered. 20 off the racetrack.
Delaney's off, but he's off the racing surface. If he stays off, and he doesn't, we'll get the caution. Just as we were preparing to get back to the white flag. And just those 2 wheels that came up on the track for Flood was enough for iRacing to bring out the caution. And that is infuriating. For all those drivers that were entering the tri-oval, getting ready to size up that white flag, and now it's all undone. Goes Delaney in the 20, right here at the back of the pack. See what transpired. Kyle Terzak, he's back there as well. Just looks like, yeah, going to be a tag here from the 12 of Matt Mingo. Mingo going to be able to keep it straight, but Delaney in the grass now, but just these 2 wheels that entered this track right there was enough for iRacing to bring out the caution. And it's likely that if he would have been able to stay below the yellow line, that we would have ran green and gotten back to the white flag. Oh man, that was a bit scary though for Adams.
Yeah, Adams is just trying to log these laps and get back around, try to get back on the lead lap. So he's in a situation where he needs a wave around. Still out there on the racing surface, so he's logging the laps, but he needed that caution. He needs 2 more to get this car repaired as best as he can and get back on the lead lap. His situation is the same as the 16 right now of Trevor Ward. 2 fast cars that might not get the finish to show for it.
2 extremely fast cars, but taken out in a major incident in turn 1. Drivers electing to stay out at this point. You have made your bed and you're going to lie in it when it comes to pitting, when it comes to tire strategy and selection. And we will now have to use 1 of our 3 possible green-white checkered attempts. We will take the green flag with 2 to go, and if we make it back to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. And well, with it being iRacing, we don't get the caution at all, so it doesn't matter if there's massive wrecks or anything. We will get back to the checkered no matter what. Adams still trying to cycle through pit road and fix some of that damage from the big incident earlier, but it is a big shame. And back on the lead lap, I think that's what you're about to say.
Yep, back on the lead lap.
So,
that's the main takeaway from that.
And absolutely, with this being a 16 car field that are on 16 drivers that are on the lead lap, Thomas Dean's still in the race, but he is 5 laps down. But with only being 16 cars, with 2 large laps as it is with the 2.66 mile track, you could feasibly go from 16th to 1st.
Well, I've seen a few guys come from deep in this field and work their way up there, but it's a little more methodical than that. And with the lower lap count, Scott, it took 4 or 5 laps to get up here. Now you're going to restart. You got 2 opportunities, and you have to make the perfect move every time. You can't hesitate. If it's instinct, you got to take it. If there's a hole, go for it. But at the same time, you don't want to put yourself or the guys around you in a situation that you can't come out of. Yeah, we're passing for 10th. We're trying to go to the lead. But that guy in 9th spot might have to check up. So you never know what's going to happen. Again, you can run these scenarios through your head 1,000 times, but who would have thought that we would even come to this track? That's the first part. That you don't know where you're at all week. You come here with a fixed setup, and these guys have done a fantastic job with 18 lead changes. It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Nowhere near. And there's no guarantee that this will be our last restart. Still 2 more opportunities after this one, so we definitely could have a re-rack or anything like that. That was good in the last caution that no one was damaged largely. Nobody got any major damage from that last incident. I was thinking if we were going to get a wreck, it was going to come from near the front of the pack. And it's so easy, like we've seen many times, when a driver gets sideways in front of you or when a driver slows, that there's just not enough time to react.
Well, the reflexes are going to have to be on point. We're doubled back up. Ryan Flood, Aaron Johnson, the front row. William Hale, Brad Carpenter, Kyle Turzak. First time we've said that name up in the top 5. Here he comes. Real shot here to find his way to victory lane for the 3rd time this season. Again, your points leader coming into tonight. But it's 100 points to a winner. It's a major jump. And any one of these guys that's maybe, 200-300 points out from the top spot can make up a lot of ground here. I think they're going to make sure Kyle Turzak doesn't have any help to get up to the front.
Could be really helpful for drivers like William Hale, Julian Valdez, Robert Taylor, 5th, 4th, and 3rd in the championship standings with the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. Johnson, who sits in second on the racetrack as well when it comes to the championship standings and points. 44 back from Johnson, and with a win tonight, he could maybe take the lead if Turzak finishes outside of the top 5. And after this, it'll be only 4 races left, so we've passed the halfway mark. So points are pivotal. Go ahead.
Who you got winning this thing?
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think it's a good time. You know what? It's not a wild take in anything, but I loved how Ryan Kuhn was able to quickly move to the front. I'm going to go with Kuhn.
I'm going to take the 18 of Larson Parker. He's still got a car, and he's been fast. He knows how to defend. And once he gets to the front, he's been the only driver I've seen tonight that's been able to keep it there for longer than a lap.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see what transpires. Is this our final restart, or will we use another one of our green-white checkered attempts? It's Ryan Flood on the inside, Aaron Johnson in the 78 on the outside. We are overtime racing at Talladega Superspeedway with super late models. Ryan Flood misses a shift. It stacks up the entire inside line.
Inside can't get it going. It's going to break the momentum up, and the outside with names like Kuhn, Carpenter, Hale, moving up some positions there.
That really hurt Larson Parker on that inside line, sitting back in 9th position now. But these drivers are going to eat up the 78 of Johnson with no help. He's going to lose a whole ton of momentum down this back straightaway. Brad Carpenter to the lead. He's got the push from Ryan Kuhn. William Hale all on his lonesome up at the top, but he's going to get a push from Turzak here. Turzak will push high. Now Hale moves low.
Contact there with the 78. Johnson falls back. The 18 of Parker gave him a shot. But it's going to be white flag in the air one more time around. Race is official.
One more time, Kuhn will take the lead at the line. Race will be official from this point on. Brad Carpenter falling back on the inside. Look at Turzak. He's up to 3rd. Julian Valdez, he's up there. He's got to run on the outside. William Hale, what do? Do you sit in line with Kuhn, or do you make the move? Julian Valdez, he's going to get tagged. He'll go around nearly up and over. Larson Parker is spinning down the back straightaway. Only 5 make it through in that front pack. It is Kuhn and Hale side by side into turn 3. Look at Johnson. He's got to run once again. He'll take it up the middle. 3 wide for the lead. He'll nearly clear both of them. Turzak, he's in line. He'll push Johnson through. Big run for Travis Owens here. Out of turn 4, it is 5 cars up in a pack. But Johnson, no momentum from anybody behind. Can Turzak maybe make a run through the triangle here? He's side by side with Hale. They won't have it. Johnson's going to be your winner at Talladega in the Misfit Summer Series, your first in history on a super speedway in the Misfit Racing League.
And back-to-back on top of that. How about it from Nashville to Talladega? We have the big oval king here of Aaron Johnson. The Mac attack is coming back for the 78.
Woo. He started up front on that restart, and everyone stacked up on the bottom lane, but it was going to be a negative to him because he was all out on his own and got swallowed by the pack, went all the way back to 8th spot on the back straightaway on that second to final lap. Yet he was able to survive the wreck on the back straightaway and move back up front.
RUK Offshore replay here. Watch this contact. He got shuffled out by the 18, and then it's a 21 down the back straightaway. Just able to avoid that crash. Right here's some white flag.
White flag. Julian Valdez in that 21. This is where that incident is going to start. He had a big, big spin. Travis Owens in the 0-2. Going to give him a tag. And yeah, Travis Owens gets him loose. Brad Carpenter nearly lifts him up, and he does get up, but never over. It's a miracle that less cars got collected in that as Valdez came back across the racetrack. But as you can see, these top 5 had their own sort of breakaway. Johnson makes the move to the inside, and with that momentum, really nobody else was able to catch him. No one had any help. No one had a big push. No one had as big of a run as Johnson did off turn 4. Turzak nearly had something, but stalled it out here when getting too wide with the 62. They kind of side drafted each other, and there just wasn't enough speed between the two of them.
And there's some contact there to the outside. The 15 of Turzak took William Hale all the way to the outside wall, and it was 8/1000ths of a second across the line there for the 15 to win that second spot.
Very close between those two. And Turzak, after the first couple laps, really ran outside of the top 10 all day, and yet he was able to find himself up in the second spot at the end of the day. Just so strong with that number 15 car and being able to get things done at the end of the day. We'll take a quick step aside, a quick break, and get back to you with our results and interviews from our podium.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
What a way to end the night and a race at Talladega Superspeedway in an absolutely thrilling finish for the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. It was Aaron Johnson going back-to-back from Nashville Superspeedway to Talladega Superspeedway. It was Kyle Turzak finishing in second. and then William Hale will round out the podium. Then Travis Owens is able to get his first top 5 of the season. Ryan Kuhn holds on there at the end to collect another top 5 for him with himself. Then Dylan Delaney, who we saw have a big wreck early in the race, survived for 6th place. Matt Mingo finishes in 7th. Kyle Adams dropped a lap down for about half the race after a huge hit in turn 1, finishes in 8th. Then it was Jason Knight and William Vanover rounding out the top 10.
11 spot's going to go to the 98. Had a real opportunity to win this, as did Carpenter in the 31. Trevor Ward, another one of those cars. I think everybody that we name here at some point has led a lap or been close to it. You have Ryan Taylor, who's going to end up in 14th position. Robbie Taylor, rather. Larson Parker in 15th spot with Julian Valdez. Thomas Dean, 10 laps down. He was the only car to DNF here today.
Well, it'll be 2 weeks in a row that we'll get to talk to Aaron Johnson and what a drive it was for him to go back-to-back. Aaron, we welcome you into the booth once again. First of all, when you were thinking about the mystery race, did you think Talladega was even on the board at all?
Not at all. It kind of honestly shocked me that this was on. Well, we got it. Definitely was not prepared for this.
Well, you know, I was not prepared for it either. Thinking about it and everything, would you say that you are a super speedway racer, or would you say that it's not something you dip your toe into often?
Oh, well, you know, I drive the Cup car every now and then on super speedways, but you know, I don't have my luck on the NASCAR side. But I guess on the super side, I guess it starts to change out.
Well, it seems like you were the only you were the driver to keep it the most clean tonight. I think only 2 drivers before you were even cleaner when it comes to their car at the end of the day. But let's take it back to that 3-wide move in turn 3. You obviously had the restart. It looked like the driver inside with Flood was not able to get going, and then the pack really swallowed you alive back there, and you went back to 6th and 7th place. Were able to work through, survive the wreck with the 21 of Valdez, and then you had a big run.
Yeah, at that point, I kind of just held on just to see what was going to happen. Because, I mean, I wasn't lifting. I was either coming home with a checker flag or just a steering wheel.
Well, when you make it 3 wide in the middle like that, it's so easy for these drivers to bounce off each other. Were you thinking, okay, I got to go clear this and then handle anything that comes my way out of turn 4, or what was the thought process?
Well, with this now, how the new aero package and everything is now, I shot the middle and I kind of slowed both of them to me. And so now I'm just thinking, if I can keep them behind me, I could probably hold it on to come to the checkered. But evidently it happened, and you know, we're in victory lane. I'm kind of shocked about it.
Well, you're going to close in on Terzak by just a bit. It was looking like this race really wasn't going to go well for him at all, but he was able to find his way up towards the front and finish in 2nd. But you're going to gain on his championship lead, heading with 4 races remaining in the season. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
I got to thank all the guys at RKM. Give us all the best stuff that we can run all week. 918 custom designs on the paint. Dylan Delaney does excellent work. Kyle Adams for putting all this on. You guys for broadcasting. And hopefully we can go catch this championship now.
Aaron Johnson closing in on Kyle Terzak for that championship with 4 to go. Congratulations on another win, going back-to-back, Aaron.
Thank you.
Aaron Johnson, could he maybe make it 3 in a row, as we'll go to 5 Flags Speedway in just a couple weeks' time. But we'll now drag in Kyle Terzak, and he'll get to chat with Bradley Cooper.
Well, it was a photo finish, but not for the lead. And we thought, well, it's looking that way. You guys go 3 wide off the corner, but you were quiet all day long. How was it back there deep in the field compared to the last few laps where you were up front?
Yeah, that was something. Sorry, my voice is gone. I was screaming Dega every single lap off of turn 4, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. I didn't actually expect it to be that fun. Honestly, the front half, I was just surviving and with about 10 to go, that's when I kind of wanted to get to the front and wanted to get track position. But congrats to Aaron. It was a lot of fun. I honestly thought I had something for him, and then Hale started the side draft for me. So, we take the second place. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be this fun, but with this setup with Ryan Kuhn, fixed setup, it was definitely a lot of fun.
We go back to earlier in the race where a lot of calamity happened, and you actually got a piece of it at one point, had to burn that fast repair to stay competitive. How does that weigh on your mind when you're racing up front in these closing laps, knowing that you have nothing to fall back on?
Yeah, like I said, at first, I was just trying to be conservative. I was outside of the top 10, I believe, for most of the race. And then around like lap 26, that's when I started to get, antsy and started wanting to get up front. And that's when the big wreck happened. I had nowhere to go. So that was unfortunate. So I was kind of, just relaxing, but also kind of, trying to get to the front and be very safe. And I did that pretty well. Then we had that green light checkered, and I knew that, obviously with green light checkered, you got to do whatever you got to do. But, that was actually the side draft. And these things are so wild. I couldn't even really expect it. As soon as I saw Hale and Kuhn side by side, and we started generating that huge run. I honestly thought I had the race not won, but would have had a pretty good shot there. But it is what it is. Thanks to Adams for putting this on, Hale for putting this on, you guys for the broadcast, Kuhn for all the open setup stuff, Corey Bodie Raps, Hot Shots Photography, Terzak Race on Facebook, and everybody's watching back home.
Well, Terzak, well, thank you for coming up to talk to us. Going to Five Flags next week, or 2 weeks from now. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
So Terzak, another great finish for himself, trying to earn this championship. He will maintain his championship lead, leaving Talladega, leaving the treacherous racetrack. And let's pull William Hale in here, who finished in third. William Hale, great run for you. You've had some great runs this season, but haven't had the finishes to show for it. And you have the finish tonight.
Well, yeah, we man, we're still having a good time, man. That was a lot of fun. I don't know that we've had that much fun racing. I don't know. That was a good time. I'm trying to gather myself here now. From a run perspective, it kind of is what it is. We're kind of out of the points at this point, I think. Just kind of racing to race for wins, race to run good, race to have a good time, and we're achieving those things. I think we're still fast. We got the pole another time on a big track. We're showing speed, especially on these bigger tracks, and we got a really good program going there. From a speed perspective, went back to the front a few times. No, I just took a bad bump early there, kind of put us behind the 8 ball the whole race at that point. Nothing anybody did, just guys don't do this a lot, and just guys learning out here what they can and can't do, and it just is what it is there. But yeah, no, it's nice. So, we're kind of back where I think we should be, up here competing for wins every week. I feel like that's where we should be. And like you said, we've been showing that. We just gotta keep on doing that.
Hindsight's 2020, but what could have been done differently on that last lap to set you up to be able to pass Kuhn or maybe hold off Johnson when he made that 3-wide move?
Not a lot from Aaron's perspective. The 98 didn't really get going on the restart right there. I think he missed a gear and kind of put us behind on that deal. Then got behind Ryan and got clear of the 31. Yeah, I don't know. We could have waited a little bit longer, but the 78 had such a good run down the back. I was looking in the mirror. I was gonna try to block him. I kind of started to move that way and kind of just decided to choose life there, basically. And to finish the race, I don't think he would have lifted either way at that point. And it not ruin anybody's race, right? We've had a good time. Just try to get the race, try to get out of here without another destroyed race car. And that's the important fact of the matter, is just to finish these races. To finish well, you got to finish. So, no, I don't know that we could have done a lot different. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time. Didn't have enough energy in our lane. to really do any defending exactly. I was trying to get clear of the 72 with the side draft. Side draft is so strong on these cars. I try to control the top when I was out front, and these guys found out how to get some energy on the bottom. But now I don't, like I said, I don't think I could have done too much different there. We kind of did the race, kind of did exactly what we could have done there and put ourselves in the best shot that we can. And that's really all you can ask for at the end of these races, right?
Anyone you had to thank tonight, William?
Man, I got to thank iRacing for one, for giving us the possibility to do this car track combo. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before. I've certainly never run it in a competitive sense before. And I don't know how it looked on the broadcast. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did, because we had an awesome time. Obviously, a couple of the yellows I had to like to clean up and had more racing, but it's going to happen, unfortunately, especially when you take a bunch of short track guys on big tracks. And this was actually kind of difficult to drive. Actually, this is one of the harder things I've driven in the Super, believe it or not. From a control standpoint, a little bitty 80-inch tire on a big racetrack going 190 mile an hour was kind of a trip. But no, I hope it was fun for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. But again, thank you guys. Thank iRacing. Thank you to Ryan Kuhn, RKM, set up shop to get us something to run out here on the big track. Kind of put something together for us to late notice. We kind of kept everything tight knit on Mystery Night until it was time to go. I think at Ancient World Gaming, Next Level Racing, everybody that makes this happen, on an iRacing basis, got to thank our awesome teammates, awesome partners in MRL. We all work really hard. So, and we try to put on the best thing we can for everybody. Again, hope everybody had fun. Mystery Night was all about trying to have a little bit of fun and try to make it interesting for everybody. So hopefully we achieve that goal.
Well, I can tell you that me and Bradley definitely had a ton of fun with this up here. Didn't know how it was really going to go at the end of the night, but I think we had a lot of good racing and a lot of fun up here, getting to call it and getting to watch everybody from the short track world try to mix it up on the big stage. So congratulations on a third place, William.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
So Bradley, that will conclude everything that we need to do tonight. But boy, that was fun.
Good time, and I look forward to seeing this possibly again. Other drivers mentioned it was the most fun that they've had, and I think even in general or in this series. So I would expect it to become a staple as a possibility on the schedule.
Well, when drivers are having fun, that usually always means the racing is going to be good. We're so glad that you've joined us tonight for the Misfit Summer Series presented by RUK Offshore. We've had a ton of fun up here in the booth. Don't forget to come back. August 4th, we'll be at Five Flags Speedway down in Pensacola. That is going to be exciting. I love Five Flags, one of my absolute favorite short tracks, and it's one of the greatest in these super late models. 125 laps that'll be, and then we'll go all the way out to the west to Phoenix, and then Oxford Plains and Nashville Fairgrounds to round out the end of the season in September. My name is Scott Shive. I've been joined alongside by Bradley Cooper. Our cameras have been provided by Dougie Beard. We'll be back in a couple weeks' time, and keep checking out V-Speed for all of our excellent races that we got racing every single night on V-Speed right here on YouTube. Congratulations to Aaron Johnson on collecting the victory tonight. We'll see you in a couple weeks' time.